Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to decorate some of the vases and jugs that I made the other day. These are 3 pounds. And then I'm going to hop on the wheel and throw some pots, and we'll have a little wheel side chat. Yeah, I said that. It was goofy. Instead of a fireside chat, we're going to have a wheel side chat. So let's go. All right, I decided to move over to the wheel to do the decoration on these, mainly because a lot of times I'll use the wheel spinning to mark where I'm going to put the decoration, or use it as I'm applying the slip to spin the wheel. So decided I'd move over here. So I got all that set back up, and only thing you may notice different in this video, and I don't know why this is for the last few videos, I have a little bit of technical difficulties, but my microphone creating all kinds of, it's not really picking up background noise because there was none in here, but when I had the microphone plugged in, I was getting all kinds of static. So I tried a new connector that goes from the lightning cable to the audio cable, and that didn't fix it. So it's either the audio cable or the microphone, and I don't have a new one of either one of those to test. So at this point, I'm just going to use the input on the phone, and so hopefully you can hear me because the phone's a little bit farther away, and I don't have the directional microphone to pick up my voice like I normally do. So anyway, one of the things that I'm going to do is add some clay decoration to some of these. And not necessarily handles, but in doing that, a lot of times I want to get those at the same, even if I want to do handles, I want to get those at the same height on the piece. And one way to do that would be to take your needle tool and put a real light line in the clay, and then you can match that all the way around. But I found a better way to do this is to use a paintbrush with water on it, and it just makes a temporary mark with water on the piece, and then you can let's say I want to do on this one, let's say I just want to do 2 spots, one on each side, where I'm going to do these little groups of clay decoration. What I can do is just get the paintbrush wet, and I can hold it at the height that I want, making that line all the way around. And then I can actually take the other end of the paintbrush and use my bat pins to mark, go straight up from the bat pin, put a little dot, spin it around, go straight up from the other bat pin and put a little dot. Now I have 2 dots made at the same height on kind of even sides of the piece, based on, you know, going straight up from the bat pin, and that gives me a central location to start either handles or clay decoration. Just little tips that I've little things that I've learned trying to get things even on a pot, because even doing handles can be difficult at times to get them starting and ending at the same height on a piece. And I'm just going to be doing 3 little balls of clay on each side here. And one of the things I'm going to do here as well is I'm actually going to go ahead and make all 3 little clay balls before I put them on, and set them beside each other so that I can see that they're all pretty similar size. Just to help, not that it's a necessity, but just have that done there. Then I'm going to take each one. I've got my little slip here that I mixed up. I'm going to just dab them in the slip based on what I'm going to do here, because I'm going to do, let's see, I'm actually going to do, let's see, 1 on top and 2 on the bottom, kind of like in a little triangle. I feel like Bob Ross right now. Let's just put a little friend right here. So let's give him a little. Oh, isn't that a happy little clay ball? A happy little decoration. Oh man, I'm a little bit nutty today. I guess it could be because of life being crazy, but it's all good. And I do it, like I said, I apologize again if I get quiet. I'm used to having that microphone, and I don't have to talk really loud to make that microphone pick up. So I'll try to make sure I talk loud enough for you guys to hear. One of the other things I like to use a paintbrush for is after you apply something like that, if you want to clean off the extra slip, it's a lot easier to use than like a needle tool. It's got that, depending on how stiff the paintbrush is, you just add the water and then you can clean up around your decoration without messing up the pot. Without adding more lines that you would if you used a needle tool. So I need a screwdriver to, no I don't, no, it's pretty loose on there. So if I can get that in the camera there, you can see those little dots there, decoration that I made. Just a little something to add somewhere for the glaze to break on each side of that jug there. But I don't want to take away too much from the shape. A lot of times I like to do groups of 3. To kind of break up, look more aesthetically pleasing. Let's see, I'm going to put some slip work on this one. Actually, I'm gonna do some white slip on that, but I'm gonna let that red slip dry a little bit first. So I'm gonna set that back over here, let that dry, and then I can work around that red slip without actually messing with it or getting into it. You can notice, and I'm sure if you've ever done this, if you ever put pots back on the wheel, if you don't get the bat back on the same way as they come off the pins, or as the piece was drying, it might have dried a little uneven. I don't usually try to mess with that, because a lot of times, even if it's drying a little bit even, it'll straighten back out, because it definitely was not like that when I threw it. But another way to get even, like if I want to do dots as well, I could do the same thing. I could put a line across there, and then I could maybe mark, you know, 3 or 4 places around that I want to put the dots, and that will keep me from going, because sometimes while I'm going in to do a dot pattern on a piece, if I'm holding the slip bottle and I'm doing dots, I could gradually move up or down as I'm moving around the bottle, and then by the time I get back around the other side, I realize I'm up or down, and that could just be, you know, not look as good. And then of course, to cover up those little spots where I just made those indentions, I can actually start my dot pattern with each of those 4. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've done this exactly like this. So, and then I think in between, I'm going to do a dot in between and then a dot in between those. So we're going to end up with 4, 8, 8, 16 dots, I believe that is. And then we can go down from there in an alternating pattern, and it won't, we won't be going up and down so much, because I can use the dots above to gauge the location of the ones below. Then one of the things I like to do is to make some little patterns coming down from those in little V's. So I'll, let's see if I've got, yeah, 4, break it up into fourths. I can do 3 there, and I can skip 1. I think that's right. No, that's not gonna work. Let's see, so that actually is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then 1. Oh, right. Let's see if this is gonna work. Yep, it's working. Okay. Trying to do that math that quick in my head, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work out or not. But anyway, so there I get an even pattern. And this is gonna be a little tricky here, but just trying to get a little bit of that red slip on the rim. And then we'll put a little bit down below the rim too, because I kind of slopped it. With the way I glaze and with also wood firing, I don't get as hung up on being, I mean, I like it to be even and nice and clean, but I'm not quite as, it's not quite as critical as if I was gonna be doing work for my gas kiln, because that doesn't cover up as much when you're doing stuff in a, see, that one's running really even, so that's really nice. So let's see here. We'll do some additions with clay on this one. Maybe this one will do the exact same pattern as the other one as far as the 3 dots, but I'll do them in 3 separate spots, which is a little trickier to measure thirds around a pot as opposed to halves. Oops, and I think I went a little, let's see, that one's on the line, that one's on the line, that one's above the line, so we'll go there. And then I don't have an exact way to measure to make sure they're kind of in the thirds, but I get them close. This time I'm actually doing the doing 2 on top and 1 on the bottom. Don't know why, just decided I'd change it up a little bit. maybe we'll do some red slip also with this one. Got an idea, but it might be tricky. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when it comes out what it looks like. Might be good and might regret it. I think it'll be fine because the glaze that I'll put over top of this will give that a pretty neat look. I'm going to wet this down a little bit because I'm going to actually put a whole bunch of white slip on this very top part here. And then I'm gonna wait till the red slip on those other two get completely dry before I do anything else with them. So now I'm gonna turn my air conditioner back on for a little bit because I've had it off while recording. Then we'll throw some pots and finish out this video. All right, welcome back. It's been like 2 days since the last clip you saw. So been a little while, just wasn't able to finish the video that day. And so I thought I'd finally bring you guys back today, and we would do our little wheelside chat, just throw some pots and talk. But today I'm making some 9-pound bases that are gonna come back either tomorrow or the next day and put tops on. And I do that just so that I can make a really nice bulbous bottom on the pot and still make a really nice top and neck on the base. So I'm making these, and so we'll probably just make one of these here and just have a little conversation while I do it. And I'm gonna throw this in 2 sections. Well, I'm gonna center this first piece here in 2 clay balls. I could center 6 pounds at a time, but I just had all my clay balls cut in 3 pounds. But I'm gonna throw a 6-pound section here, take it off the wheel, throw the 3-pound section, and then put the 2 together. Clay's pretty decent today. I had to actually mix some of my reclaim that was a little stiff. I mixed it with some fresh clay to make what I'm working with here today. The tops that I'll put on these 9-pound bases will probably be like 3 pounds. I want to say that I appreciate all of your feedback on my video. The different kind of video was my title of that one. And yeah, like I said, I was a bit random in my conversation there. Not random, but a bit unscripted, as all of my videos are. But just wanted to get some things I was thinking about out there, and appreciate your feedback. And that's been, I guess I should say, helpful. It was appreciated for sure. I appreciate all the feedback. You know, I definitely wanted honest opinions. There's, like I said, I didn't know if the, you know, the way I was thinking about things was just my thoughts or opinions, or if it was a common thing on YouTube, or if it was just, you know, only something I was dealing with. But anyway, I appreciate the feedback. It was helpful, and it was good to read all those comments. And you know, I will talk about this. I'll put it this way: when I was younger, I struggled really bad with caring too much about the opinions and what other people thought about me. I heard a really good quote last night, listening to something, and the person said that they were talking about self-image, and the person said that it was in a public speaking setting, and they said, you know, self-image, he said, that's the way you think about you. And he said, no, that's a wrong way of thinking about it. He said, that's what others think about you. And he said, no, that's also wrong. But those are 2 ways that most people think about self-image. He said, what self-image really is he said, the way you think other people think about you. And that was such a good way to frame that, because it really is. People's self-image is really only our perception of the way other people think about us. So it's really even more awkward and backwards than even the second one. It's not an accurate representation of the way other people think about us. It's our filtered version and tainted by the way we think about of ourselves. And then we throw that onto other people, and then we think, okay, well, how are they thinking about us? And that's how we actually think about ourselves and perceive ourselves. And so how does that relate to what we're talking about? Well, it comes down to the fact that, you know what, in making videos, you know, I want, every YouTuber I'm sure deals with this. They want people to like the videos because they want to be successful at it, number one, but also they want to be liked as a person and as what they're doing. You know, making a video, I'm sitting here throwing a pot talking to a camera, okay? So you gotta, like, number one, you gotta be thinking, okay, I hope somebody enjoys what they're seeing here, because otherwise this is a really severe waste of time, number one, because I could just sit here and throw these pots without talking to my camera, and you know, I'd get done quicker, and I wouldn't have to worry about what anybody thought about what I was doing or what I was saying. I could just do it and then sell my pots and not worry about that. But I want to share what I'm doing with people as far as my work, but I also enjoy making the videos. So that's why we're making the video, and that's why we're talking. And so as far as self-image comes into that, you know, I gotta feel okay about myself, and that I feel like I have something to share and that's worthwhile talking about in order to sit here and talk to you guys while I'm throwing pots. So that's where self-image comes into this. So of course, you know, wanting, you know, good feedback on a video is one thing, but I've also learned and had to deal with that in my life, that to not get too hung up on what people thought about me, because really, number one, you don't know 100% what people are thinking about you. And number two, does it really matter what other people think about you? You know, what really matters, you know, in your life? And that's really up to you to decide. But does it really matter if somebody likes you or doesn't like you? Does that really affect your life in the long run? And if you're a public figure, that can affect you and your ability to be successful. And so in some ways, in order to be successful on YouTube, people have to like you. So you need to do things that people like. But then again too, that could, you know, that could run contrary to what you really want to do. And so one of the things that I've always wanted to do with my life is do something that I enjoy, not do something that I didn't enjoy just to make money. You know, I've talked to my kids and to other people several times that, you know what, when I remember being in school and being asked, would you rather do something that you don't enjoy doing for a lot of money, or do something you enjoy doing for less money? And I always picked the latter. In my mind, I was always like, I'd rather enjoy my life and make less money than do something I just despise doing and make a pile of money, because the amount of time you're going to spend making that money is most likely going to be equal to, if not more time than you spend outside of doing that thing, making money, until you retire. And most people are not retiring at a ripe young age these days, and so I don't want to spend most of my life doing something I hate, excuse me, just hoping that when I get to retirement I can then enjoy my life. That stinks. And I'm just not going to live my life that way. And so if at any point I'm doing something in these videos that you don't like, I apologize. And if you comment and say, hey, I don't like the way you did that, or I think you should do this or that and the other, and I don't do it, it's not because I don't like you or your comment, or that I don't appreciate your comment. It might just be like, hey, I don't feel like doing that or talking about that, so I'm not going to do it. And I'm probably not going to directly tell you, hey, that's a bad idea, because it's not a bad idea. It might just be something that I don't feel like doing. So once again, I'm just kind of rambling here, but I think what I'm saying is coming out right. That I just want to be true to myself, and I want to be true to what I enjoy doing, because that's where I'm going to be happy. And that's where I based kind of my decision on what I'm doing for a living, is that I found something that thankfully I'm good at, and that I've developed a skill to be able to be good at, that I actually enjoy doing. So I'm not going to purposely introduce a new aspect to that in making videos, and then turn that into making videos about things that I don't really care about just to please somebody else. Okay, I'm sure that makes sense. So I guess this would be a a part 2 to a different kind of video, just to talk about these things and get it off my chest. Because, you know, there have definitely been times in the past where I've read comments and people saying, hey, I think you should do this, or you know, just asking really detailed questions about something that I just wasn't interested in sharing about. And part of that might have been because, hey, if you want that specifics of how to make pots, then you need to go take a class. You know, this channel is not paying my bills, so, you know, I can't just stop everything I'm doing to stop and make a video to explain that one specific question you're asking about. And so that just may be the thing that I'm not interested in. Or, you know what, if you came here and you were an apprentice of mine, or you took a class here, if I did classes, I don't do classes, then I would share every bit of that information with you. But it's in order to stop doing everything that I'm doing and working towards to make a video about a specific issue that I don't care about, it's just not going to happen. And then also on top of that, then I have to feel okay with the fact that I'm going to ignore that comment. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of understand where I'm coming from with all this. And still be happy with me and what I'm doing and all that. So that's my focus, and that's kind of why I made that video, and why I'm talking about it here and now, is because I've struggled really hard in my life to get past the fact of really caring too much about what other people thought about me, and getting to a point where what mattered most to me was what I thought about me, and what my family, I mean, that's the most important things to me, are not what other strangers and people that I don't know care about me. It's how I feel about myself and my family and so on. So I try to keep a proper perspective in my life on those things, because I've noticed in the world, that's not the way most people operate. Most people, it's sad to say, but I think most people don't have a good self-image. And like I said, and based on the definition I gave you earlier, most people have a bad sense of the way, are thinking that people don't think very well about them, and you can see it in the way they act. I mean, you really what they talk about and how people act, you can really tell what their self-image is, or the way they think other people think about them. And I've fought so hard in my life to overcome that and to get comfortable with who I am, that I'm not going to go back there, and I'm not going to put myself in positions where I'm just doing things for somebody else, in the sense that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm going to do it because somebody else wants me to do it. I just don't want to do that. If I have a choice in my life to not do that, then I'm not going to do it, because then I'm not being happy, and I'm not fulfilling who I feel like I'm supposed to be, which then that takes away from the rest of the world, honestly, because what the world really needs is for every one of us to be comfortable with who we are, so that we can go be that in the world. Because nobody, that was another thing this guy talked about last night that I was listening to. You're only gonna be a second rate, at best second rate, anybody else. If you're trying to be like anybody else, if I'm trying to be like any other YouTuber, I'm at best gonna be second rate, that person. But I can be the best me that I can be, and only I can be that person. And the same with you. No matter what you do, if you're a potter or if you're doing anything else, you are the only person that can be the best you that you can be. And you actually are taking away from how good the world can be by trying to be somebody else, and by trying to do things that are not who you are. If you're ever trying to do things that are just not who you are, just trying to make somebody else happy because you think that's what they want you to do, I think you're messing up. And I personally, like I said, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to be that person. I want to be me, and I want to enjoy my life, and want to do the things that make me happy. Now, like I said, when it comes to making things that other people need to enjoy, like pottery or YouTube videos, yeah, there's a little bit of compromise every once in a while that needs to happen. you know, that I need to make pots that I think will sell and that people are going to enjoy. But there are still, like I said, still certain shapes that I know I could make and sell, but I don't like that shape or that pot, so I'm not going to make them. So that's just a personal conviction and just a thing that I'm not gonna cross that line if I can stand it. Now, if it got to a point where I'm like, well, the stuff I was making is not selling and I need to pay my bills, I'm probably gonna make those pots that I know could sell that I don't like because I need to pay my bills, and I'm practical enough to realize, hey, I'm gonna swallow my pride and do that. But if I don't have to, I'm not going to. So anyway, there's a nice bulbous round bottom that I can come back on tomorrow or the next day and put a top on. And I know I wasn't talking a bit about what I was doing while I was doing it, but I hope this helped you guys and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed the first part of this video where we did the slip decoration and everything on the pots, on those little vases and jugs. But either way, we'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great day. And you know what? When I say go make amazing pots, go be amazing yourself and at whatever you do, and make sure you're being true to yourself and make the world a better place make the world a better place that way, because that's what this world needs. And you need it, and your family needs it for you to be you 100%. And hey, you know what? We all need to improve, though. You know what? So you can't just be you as the crappy person that we all are at times in our lives. You need to be the best you that you can be, and that's how you make the world a better place. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.